Nope. No, it isn't.
No, no, it's not. Okay. Be warned, this is broadcasting.
Okay.
Which, you know, just don't say anything nasty about anyone other than us. So, whatever you want.
Business as usual.
Yeah, pretty much.
So we've been playing a lot of that Star Citizen run.
Hmm.
Wow, that helmet is fucking stupid looking.
Yeah, I told you it's a welding helmet.
It's a mix between a welding helmet and the Black Sun helmet from Galaxies. Um, been having a lot of fun with it. Other than it can be a tad frustrating at times.
Well, yeah, vanishing chairs and all that.
That was just funny. It happened again. The chair didn't vanish, but I was taken off from another port, and my landing gear was gone.
Oh,
So
well, you don't need landing gear.
no, I noticed that. When I lowered my ramp to get in the ship actually bounced up on its bounced up on its nose, and I was able to get in and take off.
Ring.
Jeez.
I had to be real careful about taking off because the thrusters immediately wanted me to ram into a wall.
Rabbit.
And then today I was playing and I did an 8,200 credit mission that it never paid me. That one kind of pissed me off a little bit.
Is the game in Guinness for
Longest alpha
being
ever.
created longest? Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it
I
done
think
yet?
I think it's got to be close. It's coming up on 7 years.
God. It,
But what's there is absolutely beautiful.
it's got to be a running joke being now for that long.
Oh, there's a lot of people who have come out and said they think they're stealing. They think he's stealing money and he's not producing anything, other than the fact that
Uh,
we can obviously see he's producing.
okay. So basically, it's the usual internet whining.
Right.
Yeah, always. Like, right now, the server is that I'm on is kind of taking a dump, and people are talking crap about it.
Hmm.
It's what's there is pretty impressive. The space combat is actually a lot of fun. The space combat in multiplayer ships is ridiculously fun and fairly profitable. Profitable. We made a lot of money.
Yay! Because we asked the money.
Heck, I just spent more money. Bought myself the plasma assault rifle
Oh, nice.
and the medium armor.
And I must appreciate it the game because I went and spent more money on it over the weekend.
Oh, what'd you pick up?
Well, I picked up the that Avenger Titan.
Oh, right, right, right. And that's the cargo hauling one.
Yeah, um, not a lot of cargo, but it definitely gets the job done. Also, not as much fuel as the 300i, so I have to refuel anytime I do any big jumps. But
Ooh,
that jump out to Hurston is probably the longest jump I'll do, and that's 31 million from what you call it, the port.
um, Crusader or
Yeah,
LSR.
There, Olisar. It's 31 million from Olisar. That's probably the longest jump I'll do. I would do in one given jump, and that still leaves me with 250 fuel. The problem with jumping out to Hurston is one of the few places that's you're guaranteed to get fuel is Lorville on the planet, and I don't want to have to land there anytime soon. I mean, you could hit the R&R stations, but those R&R stations seem to be buggy.
Now, how much real world money do they hit you up for stuff like this?
My initial investment was 70, and that was several years ago. and that got me, access to the alpha, guaranteed ship in the game.
I know for Dustin, for his birthday, I got him a ship package and alpha access for $45.
Yeah. Some they're not nearly as much as they used to be. The ship I just got was a $40 ship. The nice thing about buying the ships in Alpha, Ron, when it goes into beta and then completion, I'll still have the ships that I bought.
That ain't bad.
Yep. You know me. I got quite a few ships.
Yeah, you do tend to go whole hog on a game when you get interested in it.
Team invites out, Ron.
Yes, I do.
There we go. Accepted.
Yeah, no, it's got a lot of potential, and I know they plan on putting the main story into playable alpha. I think this summer.
Yeah, they're getting close with that.
I think they want. I think they're saying August. And anytime Chris Roberts works with Mark Hamill, it's going to be amusing.
Oh, Mark Hamill's involved with this?
Yeah, Mark Hamill, John Rhys-Davies.
He's reprising his role from.
Yeah, he's more or less playing.
Commander.
He's more or less playing Christopher Blair from Wing Commander without calling him Christopher Blair.
See, now I gotta get involved in this at some point.
And then John Rhys-Davies is in it, and he was in the Wing Commander series as well. Liam Cunningham from Doctor Who and Game of Thrones is in it. It's a lot of fairly impressive actors that are in it.
Gary Oldman.
Yeah, Gary Oldman's in it.
Cool.
Let's see.
Highly recommend going and watching the cinematic trailers they've put together.
Oh yes, the cinematic they were nice. It's a really similar story to Wing Commander, and I think that's part Chris Roberts saying "fuck you" to EA. Because if EA hadn't completely and miserably dicked him when they bought Origin, we could have had this years ago. Of course, then again, it would have been through EA and it would have sucked ass. But because EA is the Disney of the video game world,
which are the Borg of the business world.
Eventually, they will fuck it up.
Which game are they going to fuck up next?
Oh, well, they got Anthem coming out.
Yeah, I'm not even interested in Anthem at all.
Nope, not one bit. Not one damn bit. Oh, it's a Destiny killer. No, it's not going to be a Destiny killer. They've been, this is a company that's been trying to find a WoW killer for years. They're not going to find a Destiny. Actually, when it was Activision put it out for free. Destiny 2, the base game, a couple months ago, and I grabbed it when it was free because it's free. And you know what? It was actually kind of fun. I didn't play it a lot, and I don't think I would play it a lot. But it was a lot better than I thought it was going to be. But yeah, with Anthem coming out, it's that's coming out under BioWare's name.
Ron, I know exactly what you would want to do, and you can do it now in Star Citizen.
Oh?
You are going to be a smuggler.
Oh yeah, you can smuggle.
And note my lack of shock of that assertion there.
Hey, Richard and I spent a good chunk of Saturday bounty hunting, so.
Yeah, I noticed you posted on Facebook that it was very satisfying.
It was.
But there are some rather shady outposts you can land at. Purchase, what's it? Vice is what it's labeled as.
Vice, yeah.
cargo called Widow is the top seller, and go sell it at these starports, and actually turn one hell of a profit, more than what Chad and I were doing.
Nice.
Yeah.
The downside is they limit how much will actually be sold at a time just because of supply and demand.
I'm going for that 3 in the East.
Going with you.
Yeah, no, they were bitching yesterday afternoon. I was playing a little bit, or not yesterday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, or whatever. What was the day before yesterday? Tuesday.
Tuesday.
No, yeah, Tuesday. They were no, that was yesterday.
No, today's Wednesday.
Monday afternoon. I was playing,
Monday.
and there were people bitching about Widow not being bought at a lot of the starports right now. Which
That's
was
because too many people have sold it to the starports.
Yep.
They got an excess of it.
Which I'm glad they said that, because I was about to land at Jumptown and buy some Widow. So, oh, okay, then I won't waste my time. Jumptown is also really hard to find. I actually never was able to find it. Yeah, there are hidden starports that they're not on the map. You got to find them.
Is there a way to share coordinates? One?
Not yet. Coordinates and waypoint marking is coming.
Okay.
Yeah, alpha, work in progress.
Yeah,
but it's come a long way from what we were playing. 2 years ago?
Oh, geez, what 2.5 years ago? It was nothing but the melee component.
Yeah, the
arena commander. And that was, I keep calling it melee. It's not a melee. It's a furball when it's in space. That was a lot of fun. It's still a lot of fun to play that. I was doing that the other night.
Oh yeah, no. You'd be hard pressed to find a different way to, or a better way to run your dogfighting skills.
Yeah.
And now they actually made it a lot easier to survive longer because the enemies you kill drop ammo, fuel, and repair kits.
Yes. And thank God they do.
Yeah, now it just makes it more fun. It's like you're actually playing an arcade game.
That's actually pretty good. I still remember playing. Even though the game was hyper repetitive and you ended up stuck in a...
You're going in and out, Ron.
Your butt kicked in the warp gates.
You were going in and out there.
Never. I heard them just fine.
Oh, I didn't. That's weird.
Yeah. Well, just talking about how even online had good points.
Oh, yeah.
I actually did something really awesome just now. I discovered that your ship's fuel is also persistent. Chat.
Oh, yeah. Yes, it is.
So, I was thinking, cool, I just spawned my freelancer. I'm gonna head to Hurston and back. Come to find out, I didn't have enough fuel to get back to Crusader. I was able to do the patrol missions in Hurston to get enough credits to then go to one of the refueling places there, buy fuel, and head back and sell all the cargo that I just bought.
Yep. Yeah, Hurston is a fucking haul.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, the only time the fuel is not persistent is if you have to do a claim on it. Then when you get the factory model back, it's
Yep. File an insurance claim. Here's a brand new ship, completely topped off and everything.
Meanwhile, my ship's still back on whatever planet I had to leave it on because it bugged out.
So in other words, in our future is Richard, pull out your multiplayer ship and take me here.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there was one... Ouch. What the hell just hit me? I got Thalioned.
I hate when they do that.
If people had been paying attention and gone after the 3 instead of the 1, we'd have gotten the bonus.
Yeah, well. You get some people that no matter what, they go straight north. At least they're better than the ones that no matter what, they just sit there in the middle with the Romulan.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a couple times. With that one, I definitely would have called you because I knew it was going to put me back on Hurston, and I really didn't want to be back on Hurston.
Yeah, I don't blame you for not wanting to be back on Person.
It, anyway, left Lorville, Lorville, City Lorville on Hurston's really neat.
I need to go there still.
It's really neat. It's a lot of fun to go there. But leaving there
Is
is a
that the
pain
one
in
that
the
had the
ass.
train to get there?
Yeah, you have to take a train from the spaceport to get into any part of the city, and then if you want to get to any parts of the outer city, you have to take a train out to the outer parts. However, there's a
Oh, wow.
problem with the trains. The trains will bug. You'll fall through the floor when you're getting on them sometimes. So I learned that you have to jump onto the train.
Oh, wow.
Just right as you're about to cross the gap, you jump.
Yay for Alpha.
Yeah. And it just, it's amazing, and it takes forever. Why are they fucking around with the one? Oh my god.
Because I'm wasting time until the next bonus starts up.
There's 2 3s now.
I'm liking this medium armor I'm wearing.
I saw.
Does it itch like the last set?
I actually saw a couple of ground missions today. I just didn't take them.
Oh, when I first logged on, I tried the assault on Starport Korea.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it spawns enemy NPCs that you actually have to go clear out. But when I went there, somebody was actually already killing them, and then naturally I flew into the actual space station and blew myself up.
Oopsie.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get impatient. Turn landing mode off and fly full speed into the station and bounce off of it.
That's right up there with Chad's evasive maneuvers taking him straight into warp core breaches.
Oh. Yeah.
You can just shrug those off.
Well, now, yeah, but in the original days of STO, not so easy.
In this ship, I certainly can. I actually meant to change ships. I didn't mean to be in this ship, which is a great ship. Which is a great ship for
wow.
slugfests, but
Someone in Star Citizen chat just said, "Oh snap! I depleted my hydrogen fuel." That takes some doing.
wow. Oh,
The plague's doing you well.
Yeah, you sound like me.
I'll just keep sitting here and sipping my whiskey and fine. How's that?
Did I seriously just cough on the mic?
Oh yeah.
Boy, did you, dude.
My bad. Actually, I pushed to talk, but it's not deactivating.
That's
Now my
because it's
mic's
covered
stuck
in mucus.
opening.
It's stuck open.
Oh, for crying out loud, it's stuck opening. I think it's the actual key that's stuck.
So yeah, it's for about 45, 50 bucks you can get involved in it.
Not you.
Ships go from ships that you can get right now go from 45 bucks to well, I saw one online that was 300. But that thing was like the luxury of luxury vessels, and it had every imaginable, a bunch of 2s. Hey, look at that! It had every imaginable perk you could ever want in a freighter combat ship. It was the stellar phantasm of that game.
Wow. You know, I
Even had-
really did a good job if I only ran, like, what, 3 sessions of a tabletop, and you're still referring to that ship?
Oh hell yeah!
So I'll just change the push to talk button.
There you go.
Pook Kep and I would undoubtedly play that game again.
I'd love to either restart the whole thing or run it over again. But I got to find my notes first. Richard, you know about this tabletop Star Wars game I ran for Chad and Company?
No.
All right. You know how people always want, like the special, super overpowered secret ship in games like Star Wars or Star Trek. They actually went a little overboard with the idea for Star Trek Discovery. Damn, it's the bonus going. I decided
Yeah,
to.
exactly. I want a YT-1300 that actually has the Death Star weapon on it.
Why stop there? Go for the wave motion gun.
Mm.
But I decided to, enact the be careful and wish for it thing. Chad and company are stuck on literally a falling apart high end of space. If 3 starships docked here, 2 of them were lost in a year type location, right? They figured we're screwed. Our ship's broken down the last time. We're done. We have no money. Blah blah blah. Blah. Well, one of them makes a recognition roll, recognizes a guy that technically was assassinated 3 years ago. One of the last surviving members of the Kuat family, the Kuat drive systems, when the Empire took it over. And so they decided to follow him into an area that has all these warnings, no atmosphere, do not enter, proceed at your own risk, we've warned you, turn back now, etc. and so on. He turns a corner, looking over his shoulder, having noticed them. And then when they turn the corner, there's nothing there but a pile of collapsed junk that used to be part of the hallway. So, a little bit of investigating, and they come to realize that it's a secret door. And they hang out until he shows up again. And convince him that, we're in dire need help. So he's like, you know what? I need a crew. If I can't trust you guys, I'll just space you. Come on. And goes up, announces there's nothing more useless than a lock with a voice print, and a pile of junk lifts out of the way. And behind it is pretty much one of the best starship hangar workshops they've ever seen. And sitting in there is a ship that I loosely based off of the Space Ghost Ghost Cruiser called the Stellar Phantasm. It's a...
I vaguely remember that.
Well, it's got some really cool lines to it. It's sort of ish like the SR-71 Blackbird, but a bit more swoopy, a bit more ghost-like in shape. But they find out that this is all of the technology that he'd been working on before the Empire stole everything on him, and he needed a few more parts to finish up some extra stuff that no one was going to see coming. He's also dying, so he's not just looking for a crew, he's looking for inheritors of his dream, which is avenging his family against the Empire using the Stellar Phantasm. The Stellar Phantasm is named such because it has an invisibility cloak that is so good you can bump into a ship's sensor dome with it on, and the dome will fill the reactor. It also has not only the hyperdrive levers, but also right next to them, so that way you can grab them all with one hand, a little pair of red-tipped levers. That's his hyper overdrive. And what they were doing is they were going to get more parts for the teleport system, so that way they could open up a linked singularity from point A to point B, step through it, and essentially, go pretty much anywhere within range of the device. That, active armor, and weapons that would qualify for a heavy fighter, a heavy freighter, but it's a medium. So you figure, this is like too good, too much. The DM's really giving him everything. Well, no. When you have the best ship anywhere, the second it gets noticed, word gets round, and suddenly everybody decides it's not your ship anymore. The Empire's looking for it because it has Imperial-owned technology. Because Kuat came up
That
with
wasn't the only reason the Empire was looking for it.
it. Well, initially it
My
was.
personal vendetta was why the Empire was looking for it.
Then
I made it a hobby to fuck with them off. Every opportunity I had, I fucked with them off. I killed his kid. I killed his kids.
yeah, both of them. And
They were
also,
swinging lightsabers at me.
the Empire wants it because it's Imperial property, as far as they're concerned. Everything is. The Rebels want it because it'll be pretty much the ultimate craft to use against the Empire in multiple ways.
And all they had to do was ask.
The Hutts want it because, well, the
Hutts.
Hutts want it. And then also, we didn't get far enough, but Black Sun was going to be interested as well. And also a rich collector of the best everything out of the industrial sector, who calls himself the Corsair, was also going to be after them, just to keep things amusing. So they're going to be spending most of their time trying to get the hell away from everybody. And Kuat also had a couple of secret bases here, which may or may not get discovered at one point during gaming. So you figure they've got this awesome ship with all these amazing abilities, and everybody wants the ship and not them. And my dog is losing her frigging mind over nothing. What the hell? But yeah,
Being a normal dog.
Yeah.
apparently I made an impression. Sweetie, come here. Oof. Yeah. Oof. Why don't you lay at my feet like you normally do during gaming?
We were on one planet, and it wasn't long after we encountered this Moff's two kids. They were two fucking Inquisitors.
And this is before Star Wars Rebels, so I accidentally invented Inquisitors before they were Inquisitors.
Yeah, that's what they essentially were Inquisitors, and we dropped them. And we'd gotten a message from the Moff that he was going to come after us, and I basically taunted him. I don't remember exactly what I said, but I taunted him, and he caught up to us on this planet that was essentially a giant swamp.
Yes, the planet where the primary product that they mine is farce gas.
Yes.
Yeah, basically imagine throwing a sick, wet poodle into a very heavily used porta-john, and you have what the general smell of the planet is like.
So yeah, we got what we needed. We were taken off, and a Star Destroyer started coming into low orbit. And we weighed the options, realized, yeah, we're not quite that strong. And at this point, I was already becoming a complete prick.
Like that ever stop.
So I got close to the Star Destroyer while still in the atmosphere, and jumped to hyperspace. I overrode all the gravity well shit and jumped to hyperspace. Not only did I jump to hyperspace, I hit the special levers too. I took the Star Destroyer down.
Richard, if not triggered in proper sequence, the hyper overdrive can potentially be lethal despite the inertial dampers. And also, it does. You remember Hand's expert description of how you have to be careful when calculating hyper jumps? Bounce too close to a star and so on. Well, the overdrive was even more dangerous. In that if you triggered that without absolute perfect clearance, you were pretty much asking to rip a hole in reality. No, Chad was ripping a hole in reality just so that way he could essentially flip the Star Destroyer over, trap it in the planet's gravity well while all of its power was going off, and crash it into the swamp to create a new coral reef for all the wildlife.
This was also before Disney took over, and operating a hyperdrive in a gravity well in an atmosphere caused a very large vacuum for a moment because object was there. Now it wasn't. It took everything with it.
Because physics.
And well, that was what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a big enough vacuum wake to take the Star Destroyer down.
Boy, did it.
And yeah, I did. Oh, we finally got something. Colony invasion, nice. And one of the crew members was actually a rebel operative trying to steal the ship, and he was. Had he managed to do it, I probably would have killed him.
Played by Cap, you would have killed him.
Yeah, well, yeah. And the funny thing was, is if he ever actually came to me and said, "Hey, look, we're doing this. The rebels are doing this assault. They'd like the ship to be in the assault." I would have gone, "Yeah, okay." All you had to do
But
is,
no, they did it wrong way around, and they were like, we are claiming this for the greater good.
but by that point, the feud with that particular Moff was so great. All the rebels had to do was ask.
I believe Pook's response is, "You can claim my balls for the greater good," and then thought about it for a second and realized maybe I should have phrased it quite like that.
Yeah, no. And then our pal Justin was playing an Ewok. He initially started as an Ewok shaman.
He turned into a Kender.
He actually did more damage. The first couple of games, he did more damage to the fuckers in armor than we could.
Yeah. And his response to everything is, "Yup, nub."
Yep, nub. And then somebody, when we dropped the two Inquisitors, somebody had the bright idea of handing him a lightsaber.
Oh, gee, of course.
This is like handing a Kender a wand of many things.
Oh.
You don't do that.
He studiously learned how to use that lightsaber. Of course, someone handed me the other one. Here, you seem to be able to manipulate the Force. You can have this. Okay. Actually, one of the things I taunted them off was I said, "I will kill you with your son's own lightsaber."
Never quite got that far in the campaign, but boy, was that fun. But yeah, realistically, I had engineered it where 2/3 of the story would be dealing with people who are trying to steal the damn thing, and 1/3 would be everything else. And actually, one of my favorite things that you guys have done was to let me save this guy here. Go.
When we told Boba Fett?
No, that was actually a shocking surprise. I had to think fast to figure out how to keep him from getting killed so continuity wouldn't be destroyed.
Yeah. That you did not count on Andy and I blowing Force points every roll.
No, you guys ran out of them.
Oh yeah, we did. You did not count on me, doing horrible things with the Force to him.
Poor Boba Fett.
Fortunately, Boba Fett didn't count on me doing horrible things to him with the Force. I was dark by that point.
Just a tad.
So, your normal self.
Oh yeah, that was the original version of Merrick.
Ron, I just shared a link that, knowing your playstyle and what you'd want to end up doing, that should probably be the one you'd want to have.
I'll give it a look when I get a chance.
That's the Cutlass Black.
Oh yeah. That one's got a pretty good maneuverability and cargo range, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh, I just realized we're actually fighting Klingons. That's pretty fucking rare.
Yeah.
Of course, it's rare to get this.
Somebody let the Bugatti out.
Who? Oh, I'm not going to do that.
Thank you. Now, I had lost my train of thought earlier, unfortunately.
Yeah, for Richard's sake, to give you a better description of the Stellar Phantasm, think Normandy with balls. Normandy with a little bit more armament.
Damn.
Normandy?
From Mass Effect.
From Mass Effect, yeah.
Okay. Wow, we did really good on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. How we I didn't check how we fixed on that Starbase upgrade. I know it's been languishing for a while. Oh, it needs 500,000 dilithium, so we're languishing on the Star Trip
Oh, that'd be a good
service
reason to
upgrade.
languish.
Suppose I could sell my Zen. It's almost a new month, isn't it?
Almost. And I am still searching my brain to try and remember what it was that I was going to say. That you guys pulled off that really had me amused.
Oh, we were goddamn lucky on so much stuff. Oh, this will get me 162,500 dilithium.
There you go.
Oh, the price went up all of a sudden as I sold it. I got 164.5. So I got 2,000 more dilithium than it said I was going to.
Nice.
So that's going right into the project. Okay, that put us into within 300,000 of the project being complete.
In other words, Richard, go real quick and see what your monthly stuff is up to.
I see your telepathy still works very well. Thank you, Richard.
Yeah, it's that was a fun game. Although, as much as the person who ran the other game I played in annoys the shit out of me, the best overall RPG tabletop combat I was ever in was a game that Ryan Kern ran. We were it took place, but it started at the end of episode 1, and it went through episodes 2 and 3. And I started as a little Padawan, and by the time we were in this fight, I had my own, and it was played by Sean. I was a Chiss because I like Chiss.
Yes, you do.
And then Sean was a Herglick, which, if you're not familiar with a Herglick, it's a large blue whale type creature that's just within the range of still being considered humanoid. And they had a species trait of being mildly addicted to gambling, which led to some really funny moments of me having to drag him away from sabacc tables. He's like, I'm winning, I'll be with you in just a second. And I'd screw up his hand, and now you've lost, let's go. But there was a Mandalorian mercenary in the party with us, and he and I had actually gotten to be friends. So we're on this mag train, this maglev train, and we're chasing down these guys that had stolen a bunch of the Jedi, the original Jedi fighter, not the Actus, but the one before the Actus, the one that Obi-Wan flew in Ep 2.
Stupid one.
Yeah.
So the ring.
Yeah, the one with the hyperspace ring. We someone had stolen a bunch of them, and we tracked them down, and we were chasing them on this maglev train, hopefully getting to where they were, going, or finding out what the hell happened to the fighters. And we got out onto this flat platform. It had a mild shield, so the cargo didn't fly off of it, and so we didn't fly off of it. But we fought all the way up through the passenger section. We're in the freight, we're on the flatbed part, and they're just staying out of range. The guy that was playing the Mandalorian figures out the speed of the train, figures out what he can do with a real fast burst of his jetpack. Looks at me and says, "Do you trust me?" I'm like, "Sure." He picks me up, stays within the shield, goes as high and as close to them as possible, and throws me at them. So I'm coming down at the leader with the lightsaber outstretched,
Screaming.
He's pretty much going, "What the hell?"
What an interesting battle cry you have.
he I barely nicked him. He actually moved pretty quick. I think he might have been a force user too. And he hits a button, like a little button or a comm link, and I'm like, what the hell's that? Well, out of nowhere, the two fucking fighters that had been stolen show up and start shooting at the train. Well, the shield is just a simple atmosphere shield, so the blasts are coming through it, no problem. So we figured at this point, we're not saving these fighters easily, and if these guys keep it up, they're taking the whole train down. I start lifting up cargo.
Nice.
And throwing the cargo in the way of the fighters. But this whole running fight, it is to this day the best tabletop RPG fight I've ever been in. And in that game, I actually managed to stay light side. And then there was a couple games where we were doing another murder investigation, and it was all leading up to us finding out who Grievous was. But we were doing this murder investigation, and I had another Padawan that I'd gotten essentially loaned. It was played by Phil. I don't know if you remember Phil.
No.
Phil's a good guy, but he not the brightest Jedi Padawan. So we're questioning somebody, and he decides he wants to get answers fast and whips his lightsaber out and threatens the guy. So I force grab it and tuck it on my belt. He goes, "Hey!" I'm like, "No, you don't do that to civilians like that." And we talked to the guy. We got the information we needed. And he goes, "Okay, when am I getting my lightsaber back?" And I gave him the line Kay gave to Jay from Men in Black: "When you grow up."
Bet that sunk in pretty deep.
He got a kick out of it. He definitely got a kick out of it. His girlfriend at the time, Amy, was playing a what amounted to a junior senator, and oh, the shit we got away with because of her. We never needed to worry about between her and the Senate and the Temple and myself. We didn't worry about money, and we really worried about things like permission. We had one game where it started in a council meeting, and my Jedi was approximately the same age as Kenobi.
Fire in the hole!
And I was talking to him, and he's introducing me to Anakin. I'm like, yeah, okay, great, yeah, and I go back out, and he comes out to me and says, "Well, what do you think of my Padawan?" I said, "I think he's a creepy little bastard," because Ryan played him to be a creepy little bastard.
Seems fitting.
And I remember I said it in front of Windu, and Windu agreed with me. He's, yep, he is.
What do you guys think about Clone Wars getting another season finally?
Really?
Yeah, it is getting another season.
It's behind Disney's streaming paywall.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't like how they ended it. Either
One
on
of the reasons why it's getting another season.
I don't like how they ended it either on Disney or Netflix. I really didn't like the Netflix season. But I'm not sure if I'm okay with another season. I'm just, it's kind of a, maybe it should just be done. Because I think Rebels was excellent, and I think it might take away from Rebels.
Oh, Rebels was perfection. Do you guys mind a spoiler? Something I picked up recently was more than likely bullshit, but still kind of an interesting take.
Go for it.
There is word that 11th Doctor Matt Smith is going to be involved in Episode 9.
Yeah.
They may have leaked who he's playing.
Oh, yeah?
Ezra Bridger.
Okay,
It's
that's probably...
When I looked at a picture of the two of them side by side, I realized Matt Smith does look like a real-world version of Ezra Bridger.
It could work. Ezra had fucking ears that would look like it would launch a rocket.
Yeah, and add to that the fact that the timing of it, if they do age makeup on Matt Smith, it would fit Ezra.
Well, they wouldn't even have to... Well, yeah, they still would, because he still looks like a child.
Yeah, don't forget, he's actually slightly older than Luke and Leia.
Yeah. It's just amusing how ridiculously young Matt Smith still looks.
Yeah.
No, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably bullshit, but...
It probably is, but it's a nice thought.
Yeah, because they do tend to introduce new and original characters just so that way they can maximize toy sales, even if it doesn't make a damn bit of sense.
I don't think they would want another Jedi in it, simply to keep Rey as the sole Jedi at the moment. But I could be wrong.
What the hell sort of effect was that?
I don't know.
Black eldritch cubes someone was summoning. Probably 9 over here with his magic staff.
Yes, that's a herald staff, and that was a herald effect. That was that fucking herald gravitic effect that would always, 3-shot a character if you weren't ready for it. But yeah, no, that was a neat game of Ryan's. It led to a couple things changing in how we played tabletop. Mainly that we eventually, the group of people who did run games went, okay, no more 20-20 kill. Because we used it for a while. We used okay, if you roll a 20 and you back it up, it's a crit, obviously. Well, this roll, you roll a 20, you roll another 20, and then if you hit, it's an insta kill. I killed the final boss with an insta-kill. The final boss of the entire campaign, I killed him with an insta-kill. I picked up what essentially was a Jedi Detective prestige class, and it enabled me to see the Force almost visually at times. And this guy was he duplicated himself, and no one knew which one was him. Well, I went, let's see, and I apparently rolled really disgusting, and I went, oh, it's you, and I hit him with the insta-kill, and I'm like, oh, man, you don't have to take that. He goes, no, you did it. I'm like, no, you really don't have to take that. No, you did it. I'm like, I'm so sorry. He goes, no, you did it. So after that game, we all universally agreed no more 20-20 hit insta-kill, because it sucked.
What I've been doing right along is you roll a 20, you confirm it with a 20, and then you roll percentage dice. And the percentage dice determine how story appropriately heinous the result is.
Fire in the hole! Walk that first step.
But yeah, it was that prestige class I had also enabled me to dampen the Force around me, and that's how I survived Order 66.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, to give you an idea of the roll of 20 followed up with a 20 and roll percentage dice. We had a character in D&D with a 19 strength, and we had earned a royal... we had earned a turn with Royal Blacksmiths, which was a group of blacksmiths that you had your choice of going with the humans, the elves, or the dwarves. to get your smithing work done. Well, he decided to go to the dwarves after a few tests of strength. He made a 6 foot tall, 20-pound sword called Bone Crusher, which was essentially an unbreakable two-handed monster greatsword. First time we get into heavy combat with it to use it is against a adult green dragon. So first time he rolls, he needed like literally a 7 to hit the damn thing, and he ended up rolling 4, followed by a 5, followed by a 3, followed by a 2, followed by another 2, and then finally when it's his turn, he's like, okay, I'm playing a barbarian, so I have to do this. I feel that the sword was not made properly, and it has angered me and the gods I worship. Therefore, I am throwing the damn thing randomly in a fit of pique, and I'm going to grab my usual weapon and go with that. Well, he throws the weapon in a fit of pique at the bad guy the same way that, after they've emptied all 6 rounds in the clip, they throw the revolver at Superman because, the bullets won't do it, maybe the butt of the gun will. Seth throws the sword and rolls a 20, followed by another 20, followed by a double aught on the percentage dice. At which point, all of a marveling. So basically, what happened is the dragon reared back.
Never play poker against him.
No, absolutely not. The dragon reared back to basically breathe chlorine acid gas all over us.
Yeah. First and second edition Green Dragon sucked.
So as it's drawing in breath, he throws the sword, and you can actually hear flying as the sword drives the soft palate of the monster's mouth into the brain and pins its head to the roof of the cave. So not only has he managed to kill the dragon and get all the XP himself, because the rest of us barely had the chance to do any damage to the damn thing. He also now has to figure out how to get the sword out because it's pinned all the way up there. So we actually had to climb up the damn thing into its mouth and then figure out how to get the thing loose. Seth's barbarian ended up trapped inside the mouth of the monster as we were able to successfully remove the sword from the roof of the cavern, and the head fell down with the barbarian inside. The 2-hour argument over dinner ensued on how best to get him out of there while he was inside. Guys, can you at least save me some food? Guys? And now we were dicks.
It is very, very, very rare for me to play a character for comedic value. But we were playing a homebrew campaign that took place on a world that had, was mostly water. It was a series of islands and water, a lot of water. And Andy was the captain of the ship we had, and I was playing a barbarian named Sir Mongo. Now, Mongo had actually a slightly better than average intelligence. He had a wisdom of 6. Mongo was an engineer. At one point, the captain, Andy's character, got killed, and we didn't have a cleric, but we had a druid who had a reincarnate spell. So we reincarnated him. He came back as a lizard man. He goes, "Well, this is just great. What the hell am I supposed to do with my human body?" And everyone's just looking at, and I'm just going. I finally goes, "Turn it in for the bounty," because he had a fucking bounty on his head, and everyone just looked at me and went, "Oh my god, that's brilliant." But yeah, Mongo, I said he had a wisdom of 6. He was convinced he was a knight. So he insisted everyone call him Sir Mongo. Nobody disagreed with him.
Because he was the Mongo.
Hey, Sir Mongo.
Point taken.
And
Rolling on.
so one of the characters was cornered. We were on like the third floor of a building.
Corny, what?
He was cornered,
Oh, sorry.
and I came rushing into the room going, "I'll save you!" And I grabbed him and jumped out the window.
How many hundreds of stories up?
We were only 3 stories up.
Okay.
I was fine. He wasn't. I was fine. 'Cause
So you have chiropractors in this game, Worm?
the DM decided to be kind of an ass about it, and went, "We're going to roll to see who lands first." Well, I've got my arms wrapped around him, so yeah. So if you land on him, he's got the damage of the ground and you. I think he took like 40 damage.
Jeez.
He was not happy with me.
When I was living in California, a campaign I ran where instead of realizing that I could just use a droid as a DM NPC, so that way I wouldn't interfere with combat results. I was playing a Jedi Padawan, and I'd set it in sort of the post-Jedi Academy time period, and the group was a pretty diverse group, pretty fun. And at one point, my character starts slowly getting darker and darker because what they hadn't realized is that not Anakin, but the aspect of Anakin that actually was Vader as a Sith ghost had inhabited my character, and he was slowly turning into Vader Unleashed. And they didn't realize it. They thought that he was just getting a little bit power mad because he was getting a little more powerful. And they were giving me flack on the side, like, dude, God-powered DM character, cut it out. I'm like, there's a story reason. Finally, they cottoned on too late. They had to go rescue him, and I set it in one of the worlds that was in the Marvel Star Wars comics. Issue 37, Luke faces Vader in the Valley of the Crystal Mists. Not crystal meth, Richard, crystal mists.
You worry me that
Yeah.
you worry me that you remember the issue number.
Well, it was one of my favorites to read, reread, and then reread again. And what it is, the duel takes place in this valley, and once you get down the valley, there are these huge crystals everywhere, and occasional rumbling or a loud shrack or an exploding noise. And what it turns out is the chemicals in the ground react with chemicals in the mist, and they spontaneously erupt in crystal formations out of the ground, which could essentially have a load of spears come up out of the ground composed of crystal, could have a giant crystal come up and detonate the shrapnel in front of you, and a whole bunch of other random dangers. So you have to get in there and not only defeat my character, but subdue him because he's their buddy and they don't want to kill him, and they're all lightsabers. Well, I added some complications to this in that he brought Friend from the bad guy side of things. So now they've not only got to survive the valley and bring this friend of theirs back alive, but they also have to defeat these guys. The final battle actually took place within the Force itself as they try and help him separate himself from the Vader spirit. And just the way everything played out and rolled, the way they got into role-playing it, man, I was emotionally exhausted by the time we were done. They had to drive me to dinner instead of me driving them. It was good.
Nice.
Yeah, that was 1994.
Which would have put it precisely what? 20, not quite 20 years before a similar storyline showed up in Tor. Which is really interesting.
I don't think I got that far in Tor, and since two of the guys that I gamed with worked for Malibu Comics, and both of them ended up working in the video game industry, maybe I had an effect on it.
Hey, you never know.
God, the wash, rinse, repeat story that no one ever managed to get any of the bonuses on. Why did we end up in here?
Because it was combat and I picked it.
Oh, there's that. Alright, I won't whine too much. I hope they did fix it where it is actually possible to get some of the bonuses, because I have never seen it flat off.
Right now, they're nothing but dilithium. These missions, because I refuse to do any of the reskinned reputations.
Ah, gotcha.
That got boring. That got real boring real fast.
Yep.
But no,
Targeting the Enterprise. Moving to intercept at full
it's
throttle.
kind of amusing what shows up when you know, hey, I did that as a story in a game years ago.
Yeah, I mean, we can use the Dragonlance, where the entire Dragonlance novel series was just basically the player notes that they had taken as they were running their campaign.
Oh yeah, that was real evident.
Especially where the dwarf character dies of a heart attack out of nowhere. He failed the Constitution saving throw.
Well, the big time, where it was really blatantly evident was in the first novel when they were in Zaxxaroth and they were trying to lift a gate. Caramon tried to lift the gate and failed, so he stopped. Tanis tried to, it was like, okay, that's obviously, back in the days when the rules were you have one check per day, and if you fail it, you can't do it again for another day.
I like how they did their best to stick with. Where instead of glossing over, they actually just kept it in the story.
Oh yeah, no, they Weiss and Hickman have said flat out that majority of, especially of Dragons of Autumn Twilight, was their gaming sessions.
I wonder what they're up to these days.
I
know
don't.
there was-
I don't know. There was a brief revival of Dragonlance for 3rd edition, but it didn't do well, so it got dropped again.
Yeah, there was also an attempt to do an animated dragon. They even had Lucy Lawless in the character.
Lucy Lawless, Kiefer Sutherland, what's her name?
What happened
Michelle
there?
Trachtenberg. It, instead of getting released in theaters, it got direct-to-videoed,
Not bad.
and no one cared. I didn't think it was all that bad. I watched it. But, it just, that was, that was when fantasy in the theaters didn't work very well. And you can blame that god-awful Dungeons and Dragons movie for that.
Oh man, that was such an absolute waste of Tom Baker and everybody else.
Tom Baker was in that?
The D&D movie,
Yeah.
he was the elf healer thing.
Oh my god, I didn't realize that was him.
He wasn't exactly all that healthy at the time. He wasn't exactly all that sober at the time either.
And he was like the rest of the cast, he didn't particularly want to be there.
Yeah.
Bad idea.
I had forgotten about that. That's my favorite part of this mission.
Yeah, the Catman learns.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't exactly learn. He's eating some actors, but there's that sense that we've done deja vu.
Yeah, so that movie pretty much destroyed any chance of any fantasy movie being taken even remotely seriously for years.
I'm trying to remember what changed that.
Peter Jackson and Lord of the Rings.
No arguments there.
fantasy movies were not taken seriously until Fellowship of the Ring.
Yeah.
And then when Return of the King took all those Oscars.
Well deserved too. That film was just a tour de force. Didn't have Return of the Jedi seem to sort of bump the storylines and some additional thing. Although I shouldn't be too harsh on it. I actually enjoyed a lot of Return of the Jedi.
I did too, but I think I was 8 years old when it came out, so 9 years old.
Mind you, I still have questions, like, pointing out the fact that they had a dress in Leia's size in the Ewok village. How many people did those sons of bitches eat?
Yeah.
Well, that was a big tribe.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of crashed ships.
Yeah, people seem to forget that about the Ewoks at a lot of time. That's really creepy. They were all cannibals.
I mean, it's made obvious right at the top. They were going to cook Luke, Han, and Chewie. Chewie. Doesn't make you wonder what they're keeping Leia for.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
What they were keeping Leia for.
Oh. Sorry, I thought we were back to the game stuff. Yeah. Does kind of leave one to work.
But, yeah, I've been working on, for a while now, converting Aura into Tabletop.
Yeah, I noticed you've got a lot of stuff out there. I really should take the time to read it, but I'm still adjusting to the psychological and intellectual requirements of my current job and a couple of other things. I am starting to get my brain back in place. Reading for pleasure is starting to happen again, so that's a good thing. So I will be able to get in, and do I miss the old days where it's just like, oh, 120-page primer on something that I may or may not be using.
Yeah.
Always did that. Read that. That's just like, you want me to read 12 pages and remember how much of it? What?
Now, when I started converting to that, it's really interesting to revisit some of that stuff. And some of it I cringe. Like, oh my god, how did I ever let that see public?
Still, best moment ever for me, as far as I'm concerned, with the game was when you reached out to me. Ron, you need some decent buffer towards the Crimson Blade position. You should slap together something. Yeah.
The magic sword of magic swords.
And I made something that was so combat quality that you immediately rewrote 3/4 of the damn game.
Yeah, I wanted it in the game.
Eh. Wasn't just going to be a trophy. Rich, you still with us, or we put you to sleep?
No, I'm still here.
You've done some gaming now, haven't you, Richard?
Tabletop, yeah.
Oh, we switched to talking about LARPing, but still.
Oh, LARPing, no.
Yeah,
Yeah, LARPing's a special little animal.
yeah. LARPing is tabletopping in costume with plumbing supplies.
Well, he knows exactly what he knows what it is.
Yeah, but I like that description. I like it.
He had to listen to us talk about it for 10 years.
At minimum. But yeah, Crimson Blade was the most powerful magic weapon we've had to the LARP gaming world. So powerful that it was sentient and like practically a god in its own right.
It was created to kill a god.
Yep. And then years later, in Doctor Who, we have the moment. So I'm guessing someone LARPed with you and now works for the BBC. So Chad wanted me to build the physical prop for it, and since I'd already built multiple combat quality, really good LARP weapons, I decided to go to town on it, and the weapon was easily one of my swan song builds. two-handed arched cutlass with assault blades coming out of the pommel in a tooth and hook style, as well as the Quillians having forward-facing combat and safe hooks. Done in red duct tape with silver highlights and black electrical tape wrap over rope. And so perfectly balanced. It literally is a one-finger balance point at 4 inches past the Quillian on the foretank. It's perfect. And when I brought it in, I walked Chad out and had him close his eyes and take it out of the back of my truck. And Chad did an immediate rewrite on everything because this had to be a combat item in game. Still have it in the basement, by the way. It actually held up.
Which is not easy for buffer weapons.
Yeah, I still have several buffers that I cannot get myself to throw out. My wife offers on a regular basis, but I just can't. The katana, the crimson blade, Enric's sword. Do you remember Enric's executioner blade with a double Quillian, Chad? Still
yes.
around. Still alive. That katana of mine is desperate to be rebuilt because I actually took that thing out for use and got it back. Enough of it's still there, but still. I really got to strip the thing and build from scratch.
Yeah, you and Danny were the only two that I ever saw that could actually make a katana. Everyone else's attempts at it were not pretty. It's just not his day, is it?
Never has been, never will be.
We should have done this one on February 2nd for Groundhog Day.
True. We probably would have had the bonuses thrown in if we had it. Wait.
I am in a science vessel. I have dirty tricks. Why am I not using them?
Because you forgot you're in a science vessel? I'm in a ship that should have hit tier 5 already.
But no, I'd started adapting. I started adapting War to Tabletop probably, 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, then you put it down for a long
I had to put it down because it was not healthy.
Nah.
All of the old resentments were coming back.
Yeah, not good.
So I picked it back up fairly recently. And I'm amazed to see how much of the material still exists. And I'm, as I said earlier, I'm equally amazed that I let some of it ever see the light of day. Some of it was just bad.
How did we get tangled up over here with these nodes? Where the hell is it?
That's a really good question.
The portals are still open. The Enterprise J is getting its ass into it. We're back here with the same set of Vorgon cruisers that we've been playing with this whole time.
I'm moving to assist the Sarek. I'm getting hammered so... Damn! Damn!
You got exploded.
I was getting hammered so hard, even my trick for being able to ignore damage wasn't working.
Wow. I'm going to call in some reinforcements. You know, Delta ships in there to assist.
Nice work on those portals. Keep it up.
Actually, it's horrible work, Daniels. Thanks.
Do you remember why the hell he keeps looking worse and worse?
Because every time they lose, he's like quantumly linked to that researcher prick that's causing all this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like 3 years since I've bothered with this storyline. But I
Damn
actually
it.
learned that I can power my way back through and enjoy some of these stories, because there's some good ones.
I almost had the portal shut down, and I got hit from behind. But I got it that time.
Anyway, I'm going to bed.
All
Hey,
right.
Richard?
You sound a bit beat there.
That head cold
Yeah.
ear's definitely sticking it out of you.
But, let's see, STO is patching, so I'll let that run overnight.
Cool.
Yeah, it's probably been a couple of pretty big patches since last you played.
Yeah. Alright, this is fun. I will catch y'all later.
All right. Good night.
Hey, man.
Ah,
Good to hear your voice.
fuck.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I just got completely and miserably crenimed.
Huh, got an accolade times Guardian.
Do you remember playing that Forgotten Realms game Pook was running?
Sorry, you broke up. What?
Do you remember playing that Forgotten Realms game Pook ran the one time?
Barely. Barely. I remember showing up for it and hanging out. I remember, I don't remember any details.
That was a fun game.
You know, now that I think about it, I do remember a lot of laughing. I think we were spending more time cutting up than playing, but yeah, that was definitely worth it.
That had a good fight in it too. It was a group of crypt things, and when we'd entered the room, they teleported you outside the castle, and you booked your ass to get back. Meanwhile, I have the only weapon that can hurt them. So Will, playing a wizard, just keeps boosting me. It's like, okay, you're the only one that can hurt him. Here's a bull strength. Here's a cat's gray. And every round, he would just hit me with something new.
Keep it interesting. There we go. Now it's closed.
Here's our chance. Fire!
Yeah, I remember commenting on this years ago. First, put this story together. The fact that Chekhov is a undercover op here
Yeah.
is a big nod to the FASA Star Wars Tabletop,
Yeah, it is.
where the whole secret agent thing is Chekhov being undercover on the cover and some other stuff.
That was one of the first real instances of Chekhov getting any actual love too.
Yeah.
Not just being a little a jab. I love the FASA game. That was a
Yeah.
great system.
Yeah. If I had the opportunity, I would run another class-based um, game. It was just such an excellent system, a near infinite amount of source material.
Oh God, yeah. And it ran for a while. I mean, there were even next gen supplements for it.
Yeah. I told you how I ended up with a mountain of West End games um, source books for Star Wars, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I intentionally ended up working for them. I've hit tier 5 in the ship. I can switch to another one.
You know, I had wound up playtesting some of the new Ravenloft rules when they converted it to 3rd edition. I made nice with the authors. Well, you know what? That was a great story. It was a group of guys led by a guy named Andrew Wyatt and Andrew Cermak. And they had built this fan website called the Kargatane. And the Kargat is the secret police of the Lich Aslan. And the Kargatane was a junior version of that secret police. Also known as, these guys are fucking morons, get them somewhere. They're going to get killed, but at least we can look like we were trying to do something with them. So they did a great story around what they were. But this fan website, and they had fan adventures, fan rules, fan classes, a big, thick, fucking big, thick volumes. Hang on a second. Ron, you'll have to take my word for this and see it in the replay. But
Okay.
so these guys at this Kargatane website wrote 6 volumes like this. Yeah, 6 volumes like this. I mean, this is an inch-thick volume of fan-made material.
Huh.
Pook had actually, when I saw them and told him about them, he went out, and the company he worked for at the time, they didn't care if he used printers and the heat binder, so he printed them and heat bound all 6 volumes for me and gave them to me.
Wowzers.
But I mean, it's fantastic stuff, and they kept this up for years in the early 2000s. And when 3rd edition came about, they started converting the stuff over to 3rd edition. And I'd been a member of the website fairly early on because Ravenloft had been my favorite setting.
Note my lack of shot.
Yeah, I know. So they wound up sending me a bunch of stuff, and I play tested it with these yahoos out here, including the new Fear and Horror rules, and they wrote all this stuff for converting it to 3rd edition, and then oh shit, the company that owned Vampire. Yeah, it doesn't matter. They turned around and said, hey, we've just got the Ravenloft license, and we're doing stuff with the Open Gaming license for TSR Wizards. We want to use your stuff. And they put the 2 Andrews and their staff in charge of Ravenloft. This is like the dream possible thing. So it's great. I mean, it's fantastic. They put out the new Ravenloft 3rd edition rules. I had one the day they came out, and I've used them, and and I had been running a Ravenloft game up until recently, when I decided I really kind of wanted to turn back to Aura. But that website, that scabbard.com website that I've been using to organize everything, oh my god, is that fucking awesome.
Yeah, I just wish I could find the email write-up I did for you about writing up the story of what happened to Enric and his son in the aftermath.
Oh, I don't even know where. Hey, colony invasion again. That would never pop. Now it pops every time.
Well, people aren't doing the other ones anymore.
Now we can't get Federation fleet invasion, which is always my favorite.
Yeah.
You know the problem with streaming and drinking beer? I gotta pee. So, what was I saying?
You said you were promising that you were going to go find the email that I'd sent you ages ago about the write-up with what happened with Enric and his son.
I know exactly what hard drive it's on.
Cool. Send it back to me because
Can't retrieve it. I know exactly which hard drive it's on though. Yeah, I've got a stack of hard drives here, and all but one of them are bad.
And that's one of them.
And I don't know how the others went bad, but they went bad. I actually cleaned the office here a couple weeks ago, and I was pulled out a lot of stuff. I've got some old laptops too, and it's just a lot of stuff I'm looking at going, yep, I gotta recycle this shit. Gotta pull the hard drives out of them first, but I gotta recycle this shit. Because I'm looking for an old module. I have a Trapper Keeper. That's the child of the 80s right there.
Wow.
I've got a Trapper Keeper full of old modules, old D&D modules.
What was that brand of erasable pens that was available in the 80s too?
Eraser Mates.
Yes. I was trying to remember that day. Eraser Mate pens. Man, that dates back.
But it's the Trapper Keeper is filled with classic modules, and I wanted to convert a couple of them and use them with the Aura game I want to run. And I said to Sean and everyone, Pook and Justin and all them, Scott, I said, did you ever run through this module in the 80s? And they were like, yeah, a couple of us remember it, but we never actually went through it. Scott's like, oh, I ran through it, but, I don't remember shit. Like, all right, so that one's getting converted. Because the story that they're going through at the moment, their characters are going to meet with the leaders of the Church of Tarkanan. And, the leader of the Church of Tarkanan in question says, I've got information about the people who are missing, that went missing the day the Emperor died. And that's the original adventurer characters from the LARP.
That goes back a bit.
So they're trying to find out information because they're still trying to kick Citadel out of Narnia, and they're thinking that the original adventurers have some information. They do, but so they're trying to find them. The church said, hey, we can give you information. You got to come here and meet with us. So they have to come and meet with them. Part of... Oh, that's a fucking awesome weapon.
Sorry, dude, you cut out. That's an awesome one.
Yeah, sorry, I just realized no one's over here attacking the Stalker.
Oh. Yeah, I'm a bit tied down at the moment. Whole bunch of alphas right on top of me.
And I don't have the DPS to take this guy out alone fast enough. Oh, but I could have just summoned duplicates. That was my fault. What they're going to do when they finally get there is the church is going to say, yeah, we will tell you what you need to know, but... Oh, isn't that nice? Everyone left us alone. Assholes. Wait. And they left us alone to encounter those two. Isn't that great? Assholes.
The hell they do? Fly through atoms?
Yeah, because that's never something that has always pissed me off. They run through and trigger shit before it's time before the group's ready for it, and bad shit happens, like losing the bonuses. The church is going to say, yeah, you have to prove yourself worthy because it is the Church of Tarkanan. And the challenge they're going to get is it's going to be one of the classic modules, and it's going to be you need to go here and solve this and bring us something back. Now I don't know if you remember any of the classic modules, the old 80s modules.
Oh yeah.
But there was one called the Isle of Dread.
Vaguely.
Yeah,
One of the ones I own, but it's one of the ones I definitely played.
Well, that's the one I want to run. And I've had a pretty good amount of success adapting the classic modules into 3.5. And yeah, I know. No, for the audience, no, I do not play Pathfinder. I will never play 4th edition, and frankly, I'm too old to learn 5th edition. So yes, 3.5. And the reason I don't play Pathfinder is because while it looks interesting, the shit ton of extra stuff they did add to it is a bit much. Oh, Jeff's down. Bet he went after the Megado alone, didn't he?
Probably.
And I don't hold anything against Pathfinder. I just, I didn't play it. Now, if we want to talk about something I hold against, 4th edition, where everyone has superpowers. I'm a first level character I'm a first level fighter, and I don't need anybody else. I can be a party of my own. I even have.
Asks you if you're a god, you say yes.
I even have the ability to randomly heal myself. Okay, so
By the way, since we're talking tabletop, I'm still processing this, but today, right in the middle of homework, Miles asked me if this weekend I could teach him how to play Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, well, the problem is he will do anything to delay getting his homework done, and just thinking that, if he delays it long enough, he'll get out of it, not realizing that, no, that's not how it works. So I am kind of worried that Ask was primarily a delay tactic. But yeah, if he approaches me again this weekend and asks how to play, I'll start teaching him the basics.
Okay, I must have actually stopped that guy in time.
Downloaded data 3, Capellas beamed out 3, Diplomats beamed out 3. We got everything.
I didn't think I took him down in time.
Well,
Yay me.
all good.
Which edition are you going to teach him?
I only own all the stuff for 2nd ed, so
It's a good
I can
start.
teach him the good old stuff.
It's a good start.
And the nice part is I'd be teaching him pretty much off of memory, which probably is still solid enough.
I seem to be having server not responding issues.
Row.
But, several years ago I converted a shit ton of the classic modules into a Forgotten Realms game. And that was fun. Where the Keep on the Borderlands and all the modules that happened around that.
Oh, they were fun. They definitely were fun.
Those were the ones I did.
One of the ones I like is actually one a lot of people do with, which is Crashed Spaceship.
Which one?
It just said you logged off.
Yeah.
There's one that has a crashed spaceship that go loot.
One of the Starjammer modules.
No, this is base D&D.
Huh. Probably what led to Starjammer.
Mm.
I was never, and I never would be, a fan of Starjammer.
Yeah, I'd heard a lot of odd stuff about that one.
Restarting the game,
All right.
I hope. You know, the settings. The only settings I didn't like were Starjammer. I didn't care for Planescape, and I didn't care for Dark Sun.
What was it fascinated me with the whole City of Doors concept?
That was Planescape.
Yeah.
And Mike Appler, the guy who played Chancergirl, loved Planescape.
Every LARP I played, XPI, Aura, um, Campaign, which was a group formed in Ithaca, now plays mostly in Los Angeles, and like two other game systems. I played the same character who essentially was a planescaper from the City of Doors, Kale Denniclesius, the half elf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I played him at every single LARP at least once. Just he was a bored planescaper living in the City of Doors who would travel to other worlds, have adventures, get stuck, or whatever, so on and so forth. This might be my last one, dude.
Yeah, I can understand that. Um, I can definitely understand that. Feel free to keep blabbing about something for a minute. I gotta go take care of a problem. Also known as you don't buy beer, you rent it.
Yeah, pretty much. It's one of the reasons why I enjoy whiskey when I play, because I can sip it slow and it doesn't build up like that. So, let's see, things to talk about. Just for the listening audience, all three or four of you, I have been a gamer since pretty much literally the Atari 2600. But I'm something of a tourist. I tend to get into games. It's rare when I stay with extensive amounts of time. Some of the examples are Star Wars Galaxies. I played pretty much from birth till death almost. Star Trek Online, I was with the beta. I'm still playing it. But a lot of games like WoW, I only played for a few years. I got bored. I've tried a lot of the other games. If you're a fan of Chad's broadcasts and YouTube channel, and you've heard my dissertations previously, I've really given Lord of the Rings Online a lot of chances, and it's mostly the palette to the game. The colors lose me, and as strange as that sounds, it's the colors in Star Trek Online. Grab me, keep me visually interested. Um, Star Wars Galaxies, same thing. It was a bright-ish palette, but unfortunately, the Lord of the Rings palette, the muting to it, even though it's done properly to make it look how it should look, it's still, there's something about it that just loses my interest very quickly. It ties into the fact that a lot of you, if you look into gaming, you'll realize that there are aspects of the game that keep you, and it could be something as simple as a location, or in my case the color palette, or a particular style of gameplay, or even how the characters generate. There's always something about the game grab and hold you, and it either is going to or it isn't. EVE Online, I enjoyed one of those games where I could set the action and sit back and watch, almost as if I was being entertained by a TV show. A lot of the games that have been coming out lately, Star Citizen being one of those games where you get sucked in. Chad and Richard could probably talk about it ad nauseum. I might be interested in it eventually, I might not. But it's just a matter of...
Yay! Federation Fleet Alert.
Oh, there you are. All right.
Yep.
As best I could.
Yeah, it sounded pretty good. So yeah, in what you were just saying about video games that suck you in, like Star Citizen could. I got her. What is it? No Man's Sky is among the most time sync games I've ever played.
I gotta get back into that. And I don't know why.
It,
I
it, it comes in waves. I've noticed that. But I've sat down to that and gone, oh, I'm going to play it. You know, let me finish this construction. Let me finish this little mission. And meanwhile, 6 hours later, like, okay, maybe I should stop now and actually go to sleep. Um,
You know what it is? I just realized it just now. In the time between when I played it excessively to recent day, when I, in terms that I've stopped, they made such major changes to the game. It looks the same, but I'm a little intimidated to get back in.
yeah, it doesn't even look the same anymore.
Yeah, I
They
know.
did a massive, massive, massive graphics upgrade to it. It's it's pretty. Oh, is it pretty?
Speaking of pretty, it looks like we're finishing up on your favorite versions.
Yeah. But I mean, for our listeners and viewers, obviously we spent a good deal of the night talking about gaming, tabletop, LARPing, mostly tabletop, because even I don't necessarily want to talk about LARPing these days.
Wasn't all that bad. Come on.
It was certain people that caused problems that I just can't get over.
Yeah, well.
But if you're listening on YouTube or if you're listening on the Mixer replay, leave us a comment. What gaming have you done? What interesting situations have what you've had what heroic moments have you had as a character? I got to talk about a shit ton of mine. I want to hear about other people's.
Yeah, how multi-tiered a geek are you?
Yeah.
We video game, we tabletop, LARPed. I still cosplay at science fiction conventions. I've been not only a Renaissance Festival patron, performer, teach fight choreography on side specialized evil weaponry and anti-am. Geekery can run pretty deep. Usually things change where one type of geek leads to another. My interest in rent fairs came out of a D&D game, but also a childhood interest in the Arthurian legends and stuff. Robin especially. So, throw some comments. How deep does your geek run? How did the chain effect happen? Where one aspect of your geekery led to another.
Yeah, I guess for me that would have officially begun with The Hobbit.
And we're talking actually not the movies, because you're talking 20 years before the movie, right, Chad?
I'm talking the original Rankin and Bass cartoon from the late 70s,
Oh, yeah.
which led to me reading the book. I don't know how many times I've read the book. For Christmas, Diane got me a illustrated edition of The Hobbit. That's illustrated. It's illustrated with. It's illustrated with the Rankin and Bass illustrations.
Nice.
Yeah, I know I've been through the trilogy itself 3 times. I couldn't tell you how many times I've been through The Hobbit.
Back in the early 90s, I was working. My boss and 2 young brothers were adults, if you know what this is. And I was asked to babysit for her. She was going out for the night. It was a rare chance for her. I said, you know what? Yeah, I'll babysit for you. No big deal. And, she said, do you mind reading bedtime stories to the kids? I said, do you mind if I read Lord of the Rings to them as a bedtime story? She's like, that would be perfect to do it. So I got the chance to read to those kids some passages from Lord of the Rings until he fell asleep and sat in the living room on the couch for like the next 3 hours until she came back. Just spent the whole time with my nose buried in that book. It's wonderful stuff.
But it went from there, and I don't remember honestly what the first exposure I had to Arthurian legend was. I wish I could remember what the first exposure was. I just don't remember.
Movie Excalibur?
No, it was long before that.
Really?
Yeah.
Excalibur came out in '81.
Oh, it was. I wasn't in elementary school yet when I started learning about King Arthur.
Museum trip. It was an early grade school. No clue what museum it was to visit, but what I do remember is they had an entire Armenian display set up, and it was just fascinating.
Yeah. I am a very much an Arthurian snob. The Guy Ritchie movie pisses me off to no end. Oh, that siphon frigate is on my ass! They've improved the AI. Of course, he just learned why it was a bad idea to be on my ass. Server's getting really choppy. Is it just me?
It's just you. I'm running nice. It's not a new range install.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's related to the weather out here.
Ah. Storm still going on by you, is it?
We're getting a lot of ice.
We've switched to complete raining now.
But, we had off today. And that's fine. I don't think we actually needed to have off. But I wasn't gonna, question it.
Yeah, my kid had himself half-dated it.
I realize that for varying reasons I have not worked a full day this year. Or full week this year. Not full day. I've not worked a full week this year.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that.
This is taking a long time
It is.
for Nausicaans.
Yeah, what the hell's going on? We've
I
got
have
the
a
right number of people.
I have a feeling we've got a commander or two in the group.
Oh,
Because remember, this one lets commanders in.
yeah. Everyone pulling their weight, being involved in combat. Like, so we don't have a king or sit there.
Or for some strange ass reason, there's not a single true combat ship in the group.
No, I'm flying a temporal battle cruiser. This
I mean, yeah, this is a science ship. It's a little bit more supporty.
All right, now we're up to the siege group.
I thought that said Torcannon for a second. That wigged me out.
Yeah. I was wondering about that myself.
It's like, holy shit, the spooky motherfucker followed me here.
Well, the internet does list that like do better advertising. Huzzah. Quick visual scan, make sure there's floating around out here that we have claimed yet.
Warp engine, full power. Saunter out of the system casually.
Still cracks me up when it does that. Still holding out hope that I end up with the tier 6 Constitution class here.
Hey, that's another 2,400 dilithium into the project from the night. A couple of the school districts around us already have 2-hour delays. Yeah, they closed the schools last night. They closed our work about 10 minutes before I would have gotten up and left for work. That's not where I wanted to go. Shit. Ratsa. Didn't want to go to the star base. I wanted to go to Earth. I kind of half assume we'll get a 2-hour delay tomorrow, at which point I'll go into work anyway. Because, that's just what I do.
Yep. Originally, it's supposed to be New York City, but I told the customer that, with the storm activity that we normally have going on tonight into tomorrow, where I live tends to get isolated, so travel is kind of dangerous. So he agreed to do a remote meeting instead of an in-person. Can't argue with that.
Yep. Oh, well. So I guess I'm not going to do what I wanted to do, but that's alright.
Alright, let's look at holdings. Let's see what I can do here. Colony World. Dillmine, Felon. Dillmine's all the way up. Embassy's all the way up. K13 getting closer. It's the lithium, both of those. Research lab. Upgrade tier 2 still needs a 250,000 dilithium. Not doing that yet. Spire's working its way up there. Yeah, I've wanted the Spire trench coat for however many years they've had that available in the supply. But we gotta get that up to tier 3 all the way around.
Oh, man.
Go.
I'm hitting the portion of the evening where I'm beginning to cough again.
What are we working on here? The Starbase
Starbase.
shipyard?
Yep.
Alright, I've got just over 11k deal I can throw in. Just over half. Hopefully Richard does follow through on his statement of logging and adding to the
Oh, yeah.
funds.
He will. He will. It'll be in cooldown tomorrow.
Oh yeah, he's kind of scary like that.
Well, he's probably sitting on 3, 4, 5,000 Zen because he hasn't played in months.
Yeah, that's true. All right. I've thrown some dilithium in, and I've thrown in a whole bunch of duty officers. The last thing I'm going to do is head back to Earth, get all the recruiting missions going.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
So I can throw more people in.
I need to crawl into a shower.
Good idea.
Because I got so filthy doing nothing today.
It happens.
Nope, I'm glad we got together tonight.
Yeah, man. It's been too damn long. But, life gets in the way. Stuff to do.
That it does. And, as I always say, anyone that picks this up on the replay, drop us a comment, let us know you were here. I know you're coming around. I see the count.
We're not creepy. We're not going to hunt you down and do anything weird. We just like to know that you've been here.
Yep. And leave us that example. Your character moments, what you did that you thought was really fucking cool in a tabletop or even LARP game.
Or even in a video game.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've seen some impressive shit in a video game. The time I rescued Jason's dwarf up in the Misty Mountains in Lord of the Rings Online. I jumped off a small cliff that I knew I would survive it. I jumped off. He wandered into a goblin camp alone.
Oops.
And I jumped off that cliff and I came down shooting. And it looked really fucking cool. One of those things I really wish I'd had videoed. Or the shit Alan used to do on his warhorse in Rohan. He'd come through and mow down a dozen orcs in one shot, using the trample ability. And you'd see orcs fly every direction.
I'm still trying to figure out how he managed to break the DPS arrangements in Start Online here, where somehow he'd have like a starter level ship doing more damage than Admiral level ship. And his Admiral level ship, you saw him, he'd engage and suddenly things would just be clouds of ions. I've never been able to figure out how he does that kind of stuff.
Well, he would use every possible planned out science ability he could. And he was an absolute master at using pets.
Thought Alan was the pets master.
Yeah, Alan. I was talking about Alan. Who were you talking about?
About Richard.
Oh, Richard. Yeah. The shit he does is with the tactical stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Although he has admitted I can out damage him in my Odyssey.
Yeah. You remember in Star Wars Galaxies when Richard and I were chasing each other around dueling, and somehow I was healing as fast as he was damaging.
Yeah.
I was damaging him faster than he thought a smuggler would be able to. I think that's the main reason why he was recommending I play a smuggler.
Smuggler was definitely a underestimated class in Galaxies.
Yeah, if you did your smuggler build right, you were easily lethal characters on the field.
I
don't PvP well. I still play Fortnite every once in a while to play with my son, but I don't PvP well. I never have.
The only issue I really ever took with your smuggler in that ability to damage was you would often out damage the two people that could take the damage back.
Yep.
It's like, stop using that ability! Stop!
I can't help it. I'm mashing buttons with a smile on my face. But we go into Restus in Galaxies, which was PvP Central, and even though I would get my ass shredded, I'd still be able to hand out a ludicrous amount of damage. I mean, we actually at one point were dealing with 3 or 4 earned Jedis, not the
fucking
instant
Jedi,
Jedis, but the ones that actually had earned it all the way from the start. And working with them on the other side of the fence where they were coming after us was just painful. There we go. But being able to pop into Restus and do enough damage to get their attention, because I borderline dropped one of them in the opening salvo. And smuggler, and I forget what the exact title of it was. I had the beat feet ability where suddenly I could run without them being able to slow me down. Dragging right back to you and Richard.
Oh yeah.
More. That was hilarity right
Well,
there.
the shit that Alan and Diane would do to people in Restus was always terrifying and funny at the same time. Two medics. He was a buff medic. She was a debuff medic. And he was, when we met him, the night we met Alan, he was good 20 levels below us. He was killing level 90 people. Because he just kept himself buff, kept himself healed, kept himself buff, kept himself healed. And when we realized what was going on, we grouped up with him. We would send him in ahead of us. The spies would decloak and jump him, and then Richard, Jason, and I would converge on the spies. And when they tried to get out of the damage to recloak, they'd walk right in with Diane's poison cloud.
And general direction.
We wiped out the same set of spies 5 times that way one night. They didn't fucking learn. They didn't. Well, the night we met him was actually, it was in Restus. He was with his original guild, and then the night he had enough of her shit, the guild leader, he came to me to say, "Okay, I'm ready to join the Felons." It was as we're leaving. We were in Bestine. As we were leaving Bestine to go back to the hold, so I could guild him. That's when Richard came and said, "What are you guys up to?" And I'm like, I looked at him and went, "Hey, we need a commando for these base busts. you don't have a guild." And that's how we wound up with 2 17-year-olds who have been with us ever since.
Well, on and off.
Yeah.
They take their breaks.
But so what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the Squadron 42 cinematic teaser. So if you watch this on the replay, make sure you hop to the end of it. So anyone that's still with us, I'm going to run the teaser from Squadron 42, which is the story mode of it's the story mode of Star Citizen. And I think you're going to see some people you recognize. Okay, let's get that onto here. Some manipulation going on. Pause that for a second. Enlarge the screen. And swap to game only. And play. So it's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful trailer. Chris Roberts has always done superior games. If you didn't play any of the Wing Commanders, they were amazing games. For the longest time, they were my favorite games.
Yeah, I do remember playing Earth and Beyond and hearing you talk about Wing Commanders non-stop most of the time that we were playing it.
So Gillian Anderson's one of the actors.
I'm your new wingman, sir.
But and as a note for you, you know how much I love Jump to Lightspeed. I was part of Jump to Lightspeed from the beta forward.
Yeah, you had such an impassioned discussion to give me on playing the game with that. Even though I wasn't exactly in the best financial position,
we drug you along.
I bought it. I bought in and never ever looked back.
The space combat in Star Citizen blows Jump to Lightspeed away.
Wow.
And granted, with the amount of years between it should, but it's just holy shit.
All right. Well, Chad, I'm logging off. My beauty sleep. I got a whole bunch of remote meetings tomorrow and get a whole bunch of other things administratively done for work. The
All
tech
right.
stuff stinks, but we get our breaks like tonight. Dude,
Yep.
glad we got out and played.
All right. I am too. Have a great night, and
Thank you.
thank for you yapping away with me.
Always happy to. Talk to you again.
All right. We'll talk to you later. So there's some serious people in this, serious star power in this movie, or in this game rather.
Lose the system. We will not fall back. We will win. Because we have to.
Little trench run there. And the whole Squadron 42 thing does it holds a special place in our hearts as the Felons, because if you ever see us in game, we are either Squad 42, Division 42, and that goes back to our founder Wayne. But so that Squadron 42, that's perfect for us. That's Chris Roberts talking right to us. Right to us. That's always just been, so we're looking forward to that. To mutter on. But I want to thank everybody who will be checking this out on the replay. Thank everyone on YouTube. If you're coming and checking out on YouTube, like I said, leave the comment. Check it on the replay. Leave a comment in the chat. I'll see it. Give me some likes. Give me some love. And we'll keep an eye out for you at a later date. We try to do this every Wednesday, and then I will occasionally do a $5 Friday, which is a classic game on a Friday when I can. That is never guaranteed, but yeah. Actually, this isn't guaranteed either. Games hold a very special place in our hearts, not just as a method to blow off steam and goof off, but it's one of the ways this group of people has always gotten together. Some of us have more time than others these days, and that's all cool. But it's a way that we all remember to get together. So I'm hoping these get to continue. I'm hoping people get to show up, get to see what's going on. My dog's looking at me like I'm out of my damn mind, talking to no one. So have a great night, folks, and we will see you next time.